Good morning, MDB fans. This is MDB talking to you here, and we're going to have an MBD attack. uh, my new logo is just a joke. Actually, don't believe I'm not doing a Zack attack, motherfuckers. But that would be definitely be a sentiment top. But we're going to look through a lot of charts today. There's a lot going on. This week has been way more interesting than the last, 8 or 9 weeks, to be honest. So there's a lot of cross currents going on, and we'll get into it and take a look. Um, for anybody who's never watched one of my videos, I'm an individual investor, and I've created my own unique system based on the book How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market by Nicholas Darvas. I think it's an incredible book. I definitely recommend you read it and look for elements that you can use in your own systems. And also, for anyone new, you'll see in my charts I've got specific ranges here called boxes or bases. And then I also use colors on the chart as well, and I'll explain that a little bit here in a sec. I have 6 different watch lists here, and I'm always moving ticker symbols between the watch lists depending upon what's happening with them. And I think that's a good idea. Maybe you might want to do that too. Okay, well, let's get into it. So the first chart is always the AMZ, the MLP index, and this is what I love. These pay regular dividends. This is great for income. And oil prices are going up. And look at what this thing's been doing. Been trending higher the whole time. This is a great place if you have an income portfolio. I have one that pays you income because income is what you'll need later in life, and it also pays the bills when the market goes into the dumps. So as you can see, a nice steady uptrend, weekly moving average, all looks fantastic. Uh, RK, Kathy Wood. If Kathy Wood's making money, then we're all making money. That's my corollary. But as you can see here, it's gone sideways in a box. Now here's a great example of all the colors. I constantly use this as my color example. Blue bars, generally excess exuberance, generally followed by a red bar, but not all the time, because that's the stock market. Uh, Nothing is ever 100% in the stock market. Yellow bar buy signal, that's a special formula I've got to signal a potential bullish start. But yellow bars don't always work as well. So you see right here, yellow bar and then a red. This is how the market talks to you. It's signals and then reactions to signals. These are all these colors are signals. White bar sell signal here. Oops, careful, might get bearish, but it was followed by a bullish yellow bar. Okay, so the bears tried it and got totally stonewalled, but then the bulls got stonewalled right here as well. So what does the stock do? It goes nowhere, it goes sideways. So it's these colors uh, which help me interpret what the market is doing, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to interpret what the market is doing so then we can make a good decision and ride the trend upwards or downwards, no matter what happens with the trend. So let's keep looking here. I'm also looking on the right side. I'm looking for signals up here on the right side. And that way you can scroll through charts quickly. I do this really fast when I'm not making videos because I'm just looking for very specific signals. And that's very time efficient. So you gotta learn in your own system how to make it as simple as possible. Don't overload yourself with indicators or charts or moving averages or whatever. If you have 10 different indicators, well, half of them are going to point one direction, half the other, and then you're just going to be stumped. You need to make it simple. So oil, this is a proxy for oil. Oil here has a box breakout. There's no volume here because it's just a tracker thing, but you can see oil moving higher. Check your prices at the pump. I bet you they're going to start climbing real soon. The Nasdaq. This is the big kahuna. This yellow line here, the all-time high. Look what happened. Last week, pierced the all-time high on big volume right there, green volume. But this week, we've got a pink bar sell signal. Well, I wouldn't call it a sell signal, but it's a pay attention signal. Uh, it means, whoa, 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 not so fast. And the big institutions control this. So they basically decided that, yeah, we've hit all-time highs, but maybe we're going to reevaluate things now because big institutions have superior information than what you and I and the rest of the retail world have. So they control the market. We're just here for the ride, but we can interpret what they're doing. And what they're doing right now is potentially a pause. It's almost like saying, calling all your colleagues and saying, look, we got to have a new meeting to discuss the current situation and outlook going forward. And we've been running for this whole amount of time. So yeah, maybe they're talking, they're going to talk about, is it time for a rest? Have we bought enough? Is the economic outlook more or less? And this is a potential pivot point, but I don't know. We'll see. Because again, it's just a signal. What's more important is the reaction to the signal. And I'll show you some examples of pink bar signals with the bullish reaction. So we just have to see, but it's a signal to sit up and pay attention, pay closer attention. Ethereum, man, look at this. Crypto is just going bananas. It's attracting tons of buyers. I'm really sort of kicking myself. I don't really have any. I used to, but FFTY, this is a proxy for growth. Look at that pink bar signal. I don't know. We'll see. Are they going to change direction or are they continue going? That's what we're going to find out next week. China, this color here is a potential hammer bar. So if price goes next week, remember reaction, there's your buy point right there. When price goes hits the top, or if it's a totally bearish thing, well, there's your point to sell or short. That's how you do it. That's all you got to do to interpret this. This isn't that hard. Bitcoin, GBTC, proxy for Bitcoin. There's the all-time high right here. It reached it last week, and I sort of speculated, just sort of thought aloud, well, maybe that's a good spot to step off because you got all this volume. Boy, was I wrong, because look at that. Look at that reaction. It just keeps going, and they poured even more money into it. The buyers are just insatiable. They just got to have it. And look at that. And so it goes higher. Where is it going to go? Is it going to keep going? I don't know. But it's already run from the latest box breakout here. 1, 2, 4, 5 weeks. This prior run was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 weeks before you got a real signal. So who knows? Maybe this goes another 5 weeks higher, maybe 10 weeks higher. Who knows? I bought it here and sold it here, and then I had an error of interpretation. Green, sit up, take notice. This red had me thinking, all right, it's done. This little move is done. But then the big green here, as the buyers came back, that should have been the signal there based on interpretation that, no, this thing's got more legs. The buyers really want it. So I made a mistake there, and look what it cost me. It cost me another 38, another 20 points or so. That would have been like 50%. Ugh. And yet that interpretation was there for the taking, and others did successfully interpret it. Gold moving up, having a big week. It's so interesting this week. There's the box breakout right there on big volume, and look at it go. It got even stronger. Gold here is definitely on the move, and maybe it has to do with the US dollar, or maybe it has to do with Bitcoin. I don't really know. The reasons sometimes aren't clear. Now, to evaluate multiple time frames, let's take a look here. This is monthly chart, quarterly chart, and yearly chart. And look at this line here on the yearly. right there, the red line. That should be yellow. But there's your upward change of trend. See, it had this huge bar in 2022. 2023, it spent climbing up out of it. Now here's the breakout. There's your trade. The yellow line is your trade. And it shows up here on the quarterly chart, and it also shows up here on the monthly chart. That's called multiple time frame analysis. So, yeah, gold is looking pretty darn good here. Look at that. Nice trend. Change it to quarterly. Lovely trend. Change it to yearly. Nice trend. So I am long gold through Fizz, and it's my hedge in case the central banks of the world decide to screw us, which they will screw all of us in a heartbeat. Just like Congress will screw us, the pharmaceutical companies will definitely screw us. Um, you know, there's just it's just them versus us. Junk bonds. Here's an example. Pink bar signal. Pay attention. What happened? Resolved relatively bullish. It did not resolve bearish. So, is that a reason to sell? No, it's not. So it's not an automatic sell signal. This one, proxy for software, keeps going up. Housing, same deal. Pink bar signal. Look at that ugly red bar. It says sit up and pay attention. What happened? It's like asking, do you really want this? Do you really want it? Yellow bar signal moved up. Check a checkpoint here. Do you really want this? Buyer said, yeah, we really still do want this. And the market goes, okay, you're going higher. What do we got here? Microcaps, box breakout, then sort of a pullback. Microcaps have just had a tough time. Just keeping an eye on it. Small caps, IWM. Yeah, it's had a box breakout here, barely on big volume. Then it went sideways. Pink bar here saying, you sure you guys really want this? Market replied, yeah, we want it. But they don't want it bad. You had a box breakout right here. Then it failed back into the box. Now it came back out, but on all low volume. This here's a midpoint close. It suggests that, yeah, the buyers just aren't that interested in it. I think this one's a waste of time, but hey, if you like it, go for it. IWH, why doesn't it have the boxes on that one? I don't know. This one, that Obama changed healthcare on all of us. And ever since then, we've been paying through the nose in health insurance. So, there we go. Why is it not showing some of this? I might have to refresh. Here we go. Let's refresh into TC. Oh, there we go. Yep, that's my username. I think TC 2000 is a great program. I just love what I can do with it. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm missing. Is it on show? Yeah. Well, I don't know why it's doing that. Nasdaq, equal weighted. Yeah, it just shows an equal weighted version of the Nasdaq, looking higher. There's Fizz. I own it. I bought it here, sold it here, bought it, sold it. Now I rebought it, and this one looks like that's the right time. I just didn't have any conviction in these other ones. And it going sideways based on this buy, I just thought it was, it just wasn't going anywhere. And I don't like it when my stocks aren't moving. I'll sit when I've bought it right and get some good profits, but this was sort of just, until finally it shaped up right here last week. QQQ, pink bar signal, again, pay attention. Do you really want it? RSP moving higher. Here's a pink bar signal on interest rates. Do you really want it? And then they said, well, no, we're not going back up. Down means more inflation, higher rates. Up means lower rates. So it's sort of, interest rates are sort of mixed. Ah, chip semiconductors, look at that. That is a shooter bar. Shooters are potentially bearish, but it's bearish based on reaction to signal. There's your trigger. Or you could put it up higher, you know, it's your own thing. But if price drops down below that, then you'll definitely see potential trend change there. This is a signal. It's a warning signal. S&P 500, pink bar, do you still really want it? I don't know. This yellow line right here is the all-time high. So who knows? Maybe it pulls back down to the all-time high and then goes higher. What if it does something like this here and then continues back up? We'd still be in a bull market and a bull trend, but I have no idea. And that's the thing, you don't need to know ahead of time where it's going. You have to have an idea where you think it's going, but then you're going to see, will price confirm that view? And if price does not confirm it, well, then you're wrong. Right here in the S&P 500, right here, back in here, I thought the S&P 500 was going down. Estimates and everything were, you know, slowing down, etc. And then right here, the market changed. This is where you had to change your view to bull, right in here. And if you didn't change, well, then you missed out on the whole giant run. There's some Twitter folks who have been bearish this whole time. Could you imagine that? Missing this whole move and thinking that as it goes higher, it's going to turn? Well, that's because they don't use signals. They don't know what a market signal looks like. They use indicators, but they don't use signals. This is a signal. There were no signals in here. There was a potential signal here, and what did it do? It resolved higher. Okay. That's the difference between people who use signals and people who use other tools that sound good but aren't. And that's my rant on that. I have strong opinions on that. So, all right, we still got to get going through a bunch more charts. SPY, that just shows the same thing. Now this is interesting. SPYs, which are the ETF, did not pink bar signal. So how strong is SPY versus the other signal? Well, maybe not. Maybe we're just going to continue higher. Some sentiment, anything going crazy there? No, nothing on sentiment. Solar, still junk. What is that? TLTs, sideways box. Sideways box. Uranium, sideways box. Boy, it's tough being a uranium investor, but this is still, who knows? I'm not in it. That's the other thing. If you don't know, just say, I don't know, and move on. Because if it's muddled, if you don't know, you can't come up with a firm decision, then it could mean that the whole thing's a mess, and you shouldn't waste your time on it. The best signals are clear as a flashlight in a dark room. They're so obvious. XLE, look at this mess in here. But a yellow bar signal, it's now moving higher as oil moves higher. But look how not strong it is relative to oil itself. Whoops, not Beezer Homes. It was BZJ? Yeah. That's moving out into new high territories, but the oil companies are moving much slower. Let's take a look at XOM. Yeah, look at that. They're all moving much slower. Oh, this should be probably extended like that. They're all just sort of going sideways, so maybe prices at the pump aren't going up. Who knows? Financials. Yeah, look at that going up. All right, let's look at individual stocks. That's where the action is. AI. I mean, you didn't buy AI? I did not. Darvas box breakout right here, just like Darvas wrote about. Yellow bar buy signal, but then look at the reaction to this. Thwomp, it's sold right back down. Now it's right at the edge of the box top here. Is that a buy point? Well, I don't know. It's really 50-50 because you had this wonderful bullish bar and now it gave up like half of it. How strong is this? Or is it really a piece of crap that simply had, is it a turkey that simply flew at a strong wind? It might be a turkey. Is there anything on the daily? At this point, look at your multiple time frame analysis. Does the daily show us any signals? Well, there's a yellow there, but no real signals in here. And inside day, which had a negative resolution, but nothing really there. Anything on the monthly? No. Quarter. I got the better view for that. Let's see. AI. Monthly, quarterly, yearly. The year is inconclusive. The quarterly had a potential trigger. Oh, let's see right here. I'll put at the top. Potential, but it failed. It's below it. It went above, now it failed. You can see it right here on the monthly. Honestly, there's nothing going on here. So that's in a void. Should we care about it? No. And that's how you can, when you see something interesting, you can then break it down and see if there's anything more potential. Avago, Broadcom, excuse me. Well, there's some selling, but no real signals. Sell H, look at that. This is strong. And this list is full of strong stocks. Big breakout here, and then it just keeps going higher. I do not have it. I had it traded in here. I didn't see any. It didn't really grab me in this section. Boy, what a surprise that is. Well, if you miss it, just shrug and let it go. Coin, another one I missed. 2 box breakouts, and look how that rips higher. CVNA, I do have this one. Box breakout here, and then a huge move there. And that was the earnings I bought right there, and so far, making money. Keeps going, Dash keeps going higher. I love it. I bought it back in here. I've been sitting in this one. This is the thing. If you're a short-term trader, it's harder, in my opinion. It's easier, in my opinion, if you buy it at the right spot and then just sit on your butt and let it go up. Currently, I'm up, how much is that? Like 50, like 40 something points. It's good for like a 50% gain. Sitting is the way you make money. Deck going up. Let's see. DWAC. I do not have DWAC. Now, this is in the list 2, which is the strong list. Big volume textbook breakout leaders. At the moment, it was the breakout leader, and now it's had a negative signal right here, and it's sort of getting a little wonky, but until it forms a new box or does something really bad, I will keep it in this list until it gives me a reason to take it out. Elf, got that. Looking good. All these are strong stocks. Hood, look at that. Box breakout, moved higher. This one, not easy to trade, but goes higher. Blue bar signal tends to be a down week afterwards, like here and here, here and here. Price was below it, so it might be here, and price might come down some in here. But the overall trend in this one is up, but it's not an easy one. This one's my favorite. I was buying this one back here in August. Took some off here, but I still have it. And look at that. Boom. Big box breakout. Making big money. Netflix, I sold it up here. No real reason except when we look left, it's just a huge company. How much more can it make? So I sold it right about there. See, it struggled in this portion here. When I go to the monthly, like how much more can I squeeze out of this trade? And I had better ideas as well. So I decided to sell it, take the money. Bought here, sold here. Successful trade. NVIDIA, look at that. That's a potential shooter bar signal. There's your trigger right there. Set an alert. If it pierces that line, I want to know about it. Now this is interesting. Opera browser. Yellow bar buy signal. And it had a volatile yet strong upward week 2. That looks kind of interesting to me. I'm going to take a closer look at it at a later point. I see this one. I bought it right before earnings because after I saw the box breakout here, so I investigated, and boom, went straight up. I love it. Good earnings. Now I'm hoping that it might go sideways, but I'm hoping for an upward trend, something I can sit on and own it for a while. Square, box breakout, some volatility, but overall higher. Uber, another good one I screwed up. There. Venom. This is oil and gas. It pays dividends. It had some sort of secondary in here, a pink bar. So again, now the question, do you still want it? Or do you want to get rid of it? Personally, because I see that MLPs are going up, I'm still going to own it. But traders are put to that decision all the time. Okay, list 3. Bullish, but do not fit the mold here. Like it's missing a component. That one's going up. AMD. AMD's in this list because it did not have big volume on the breakout. It had big volume here, but that's a shooter bar. Bearish. Put a signal right there. Set an alert. Boom. It's done. I use text alerts all the time. The system will send me an alert if something happens. Failed breakout right here in AMR. In fact, this should probably come off and be moved. We'll move this to just watching. Amazon, higher. ANET, here's an example of a pink bar signal. A little bearish, but no, started moving back up. But notice how it hasn't gone to new highs above it. This is interpretation. Is this a strong rebound from the pink? Maybe not. But it's sort of inconclusive at this time. If you're a holder, yeah, continue to hold. ARM signal here, this big shooter bar. Notice how price is unable to get back to the top. And now we got a bearish bar in here. I noted there was some selling in here on the daily. Let's see how it did there. On the daily, there's a bearish shooter bar. Resolve to the downside. The stock's turning a bit bearish. Lovely trend. The Bros, I bought some of this. It's up a little bit. Hopefully it goes higher. Crocs, Dell. Dell, here's a good example of volume analysis. I said that this was a volume blowout. It's an old rule I've got based on the biggest volume bar ever. As we can see, biggest volume bar in its history. Many times that's usually the time to step off and sell. Look at that. If you sold it here, it had a down week. Big sellers, they took my advice. Yeah, Dell's done for a while. Not bad or anything, but just don't expect to make a lot of money in that particular stock. This one, I'm watching it because it had this bullish signal, but it hasn't broken out. GBTC, we know about that. SMCI. Just a huge bullish continuation signal, but then you'd have to be a buyer on this. There's your inside week. There's your trigger line. But how many of us were prepared to buy the gap up here? Not really me. So let it go. That one, nothing there. All right, let's look on stuff on bearish. One thing I did was I shorted a bunch of tech stocks. I'm short a number of stocks, which I view as a hedge. I don't really like to use options, so I'll just short weak stocks, and I'll make some money on them. They offset losses on my long side. I've never shorted a stock like to zero. In my view, they're good for like 20% and then get out. Berkshire, pink bar, and it's resolving to the downside a little, but boy, some selling there. That's interesting. Costco, that's that's both a shooter bar, bear shooter, and a pink bar with a big volume. Now I've said it could resolve bullishly. Does this look like it's going to resolve bullishly? To be honest, that looks like a get the hell out bar. Like it's gone as far as it's going to go. Time to leave. But again, that's all interpretation. So I don't really know. Maybe it resolves bullish higher, but this looks, honestly, it looks more like it's going to do that. Not going anywhere. Here's a bearish resolution to a pink bar. If you paid attention, you were prepared to exit at the trigger right there, or to keep a very close eye on it. It looks like it failed like right away. There's the breakdown bar, and it's a white bar, sell signal. Whoosh, just kept going down. Yeah, if you didn't take action, okay, but the signs were there. Oh, look at that. Google, that's a bullish sign. Now, even though Google's AI is racist and the company is woke liberal and full of prejudice and evil people, which is ironic because considering their slogan is "Don't be evil," that they still make a ton of money. So we'll put this in bullish signals. GitLab, oof, that is ugly. That's a big time failure. We're going to move this to box 5, which is the avoid list. There's a failure right there. White bar sell signal. MDB, say it isn't so. We'll move this. By the way, I lost all track of time, so I think we're getting close to a half hour. We'll be wrapping soon, and then I want to show you something on S&P 500 numbers, but we're not there yet. Oil, doesn't look good. Shopify, look at that. Is that a trend change, or it looks like it's been going sideways, but with a lot of volatility? Hard to tell. Snow, I'm short this one. This one is for multiple reasons. Huge pink bar, and it moves so fast. By the time I decided I was going to put some more shorts on, it was already below the trigger. But when we look at the multiple time frame analysis, we see here on the monthly, a big ass shooter bar. This was a failure on the quarterly, and the yearly had failed back up here at 200. So really, if you really wanted to bet against snow and you are on the spot, you would have been out at 200, but you had a secondary spot right there. Either way, this looks very bearish. And so far, I'm up on the short. It's a good hedge in case the market takes a tump. Tesla, short on this one. Tried the shorts here. They sort of, as it went sideways, I sort of gave up at this blue. That's where I covered, and then immediately was like, oh, what did I do that for? Put the short back on. Now it's beginning to pay. I think Tesla has problems. It's just the auto market itself, and EVs are frankly a niche in my opinion. Like what, you're going to convince the farmers in Iowa to buy EVs? Please. I like gas cars myself, but on the monthly chart, see, you got a box breakdown here, more breakdown here. However, volume is low, but that just doesn't look very good. So another short for hedging my market exposure. Ugh, this is pretty awful. Nobody's been talking about workday. Pink bar, then a huge gap down. That's just ugly. ZS, I'm short this. I noticed the trigger right here. And when I was searching for shorts, I noticed the big red volume. Look here how it got totally crazy starting in this week. Pretty easy interpretation. And now it's a white bar sell signal. Yeah, this looks like it might be a great short. Multiple time frame analysis. Yep, there's a trigger right there. The monthly really showed me that. That looks ugly. That's a reversal. All right, let's speed this up. We got list 5 is stuff to avoid. These charts should look awful. Yep. That looks bad. I'm short Apple. Can you believe Apple is on this list? Look at that. You had the shooter bar right there. If you went for it right there, it started to pay off immediately. And now it's just been going down. I'm short from up here. Box breakdown. Big volume breakdown. It's the opposite of the bullish ones. Apple's in trouble. And if Apple's in trouble, then maybe it makes sense. Maybe it makes sense that we're getting a pink bar sell signal here on the Nasdaq, and maybe it makes sense we're getting a pink bar signal here on the S&P 500. Because if Apple is going down, it's taking those down with it. That one, who cares? Who cares? Oh, Bill. That's a bullish looking signal. Jesus, I got to take it off the list. I don't really want to, but who knows? Look at that, box breakout. I got to take another one off the list. BTU, coal. Who would have thought? Now, am I going to buy coal? No. But I want to keep an eye on it because that looks bullish all of a sudden. Maybe we should be buying coal. If the market's going to change away from technology, maybe that's the signal we need to change our money around. Pay attention. This is how we find out what is changing and what we need to do about it. All right, I just wrote it down. I'm actually going to take a closer look at that one. And when I say take a closer look, I mean look at the numbers, study it a bit more. Maybe we need to buy some. Anything here? No. Well, this one's going sideways in a box. It just had a positive bar here, big green, but it has no signals and no, maybe a little change, but nothing to get me excited about. Confirm box breakdown here. We'll change this to red. I apologize. I feel like I'm just monologuing and the video will never end, but there's just so much going on and I want to discuss it. Ugly, we know about that. This one here, oh, look at this. 2 blue bars in a row, big volume, but notice how price hasn't climbed at all. For all the new buyers, there's eager sellers. That's how I interpret that. Not ready yet. Know about that one. Going nowhere. Going nowhere. This might be a short. Maybe. Sideways, nothing there. This box confirmed. Had a good update. Had a good week this week, but it's still in a downtrend. The stock Rivian still needs to do more. All right, last list, and then we'll do the bonus of the S&P 500 review. Earnings, that is. Oh, pink bar signal there, interesting. Big blue signal on CRWD. This is one everybody was going gaga over the earnings. And the buyers who bought up here all got hosed. Could see that coming a mile away. Remember, blue bars tend to be followed by red bars. So we'll see what happens. Box, sideways, blue. There's the box failure at Ford. Gee, that's a surprise. Nothing here. This one, I don't do biotechs, but this one had a signal on, I think, the yearly or quarterly. So I stuffed it in there just to keep an eye on it. But I almost never buy biotechs. Meta going up. Monday, I own this one, still long from right here. Looks fine to me. Microsoft, now going sideways in a box. Sideways, sideways. PLTR going up, but not in any way that fits my trading system. So I keep an eye on it. Qualcomm, God, look at this. Yellow bar buy signal, just moving up. Should have bought that for the long term because they paid a decent dividend. Oh, SoFi. That's new. I didn't even see that. White bar sell signal. We're going to move this to bearish signals. Here we go. Box breakout. I own this one. STAA. I bought it in here last week. Let's fix the circle. I've been keeping an eye on this one for a long time. And look at that. That may be positive trend change. It's so interesting how new names show up while things like Microsoft sort of slow down. What else we got? Where did I leave off? All right, we're almost done here. The stinger, keep going up. I like that. Pink bar signal and a sort of going to go nowhere resolution there. And that's oil. Okay, that's it for the list. I think you've got a good idea of new items, things that are going on. I believe the market's at a crossroads, and it's making decisions on, do we continue going higher or is it time for a trend change? We don't know the answer until we get into this next week, but pay attention. All right, let's get into the bonus thing on the S&P 500. Downloaded the latest numbers. These numbers are all dated from a few days ago. We got estimates here, now going all the way through 2025. The interesting thing is, look at that. We got the steady growth, a steady 15% forecasted. The interesting one here, when we look through the numbers, it goes up. Then we have a big dip here. Why? I don't know. And then look how it just takes off. From 56, it goes up $10 a share. That's a lot of money. What this tells me, though, with an outlook like this, if this outlook, they feel that it's going to do this well for the next couple of years, well, yeah, why wouldn't you buy today to get that stream in the future? The market's a little overvalued here, over 25, according to my handy chart. Anything over 25 is a bubble. But the forward PEs are, relatively manageable. And with this income stream, these are probably going to get even more manageable. Let's see here. 29, does that carry us through? Oh, I got to fix that. Let's see, 12. No, that needs to be 14. Cool. Oh, got to fix that one. There we go. We'll do it this one. There we go. Fixed. So with these forward PEs, that's still relatively manageable. Means a strong market. This was sending me warning signs like, why the heck are they pushing it, the PE so high into this bubble territory? Historically, we haven't had PEs go there except in times of turmoil like COVID-19. Steady growth periods have stayed away from that greater than 25. It came close many times, but it never breached it until now. But now that we see this future growth is as steady as it is, now it makes sense how there's room for them to push it higher. But even the big boys aren't insane. So it looks to me like they're holding the line. They crossed over it a little bit, but they're holding the line. So I think that's a good interpretation of this, but it's very good to see a good forecast because it means the economy's generally going to be good, and we've got a good foundation for going higher. So anyways, that's the weekend review. Thank you for sticking around all this time and watching. Hope you guys learned something new from this, and I hope you have a good weekend and a good trading week next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.